Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Roszipou and for today's Playing With Me video, I'll be doing my theme in my bullet journal for October 2021. If you're new here, all my themes in 2021 in my bullet journal are all video game related, but I always try my best that if you're not really into video games or you don't really understand the references that I'm talking about, you can still take some inspiration from my themes anyway. As I promised last month, my theme for this month is based off Persona 5, a JRPG that takes place in the Tokyo that we all know today, where a group of high schoolers unleash personas to help out people in need. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell to make sure to be notified when my next video comes out. And with that in mind, let's go ahead with how I did my cover page. So you probably already noticed just from the little introduction that I did at the beginning of the video, this theme seems to rely heavily on illustration, but fear not, if you follow along, that theme won't take you longer than one afternoon to create. Mostly because I'm gonna be using like stars, sparkle, and shape. It's gonna be super easy for you to recreate if you're not really into illustrative spreads. So if you didn't know, I do stream on Twitch almost every day, and I started a Persona 4 playthrough, which is my first ever time playing a Persona game, by the way, and I'm loving it. I've fallen in love with this series. I do want to say though, I never played Persona 5, but I saw a lot of my Twitch friends playing it, and I was always in awe like in front of like the general aesthetic of the game, and like especially the in-game menus. So this is where I got mostly my inspiration for this theme, and I just thought that the general aesthetic of red, white, and black, I thought it would fit perfectly the spooky and the Halloween vibe of October. So this is why I went with Persona 5 instead of 4 for this reason. Also for this whole theme, I'm going to be mainly using my Crayola SuperTips, my Uni-posca Pen, and my Tombow Brush Pen. So as I was saying, for my cover page, I started off with the main logo of the game, which is a top hat with some kind of masquerade or theater mask that has some kind of flame coming out from one eye. And I divided my page, my spread, in 4, and I drew some different designs that I would find in my reference pictures for the game. So we have some sparkles, we have some half circles that gives kind of like a psychedelic vibes, and we also have some weird stars. I don't really know how to call them. I'm gonna call them the emo stars because they remind me of the early 2000 aesthetic where everyone was an emo, everyone was like in the scene, and yeah, so we gotta call them the emo stars. And yeah, so right after I drew all these, I used my white Uni-posca pen just to pass over mainly the sparkles, to make them like, you know, pop a little bit more, because when I used my black Crayola SuperTips to contour the stars, I didn't like the look that it gives, so I used my white Uni-posca pen just, you know, to make them flash a little bit more. And right now I am working on the title. Just again, as a little reminder, if you're new here, my first language is French, so mainly when I'm gonna be writing my bullet journal, I'm gonna be writing down in English, generally when the words are smaller in English, but sometimes it just like comes more natural to me if I would write in French, which is most of the time, you know, the days of the week and the month. So I left myself some space, some white space to write down October in it, and I kind of wanted like to make a little reference to you know those weird secret letters you will mostly like find what I'm talking about in like thriller movies or like murder movies or whatever, where someone would use like cutted letters from a magazine and they would like stick it and, you know, make a message from that. So I got my inspiration a little bit from that, because I thought when I was looking at my references picture, that's the idea that first came in mind. So I wrote down Octobre, which is the French equivalent for October. So if you are recreating this theme and your first language is English, just switch the R and the E and there we go. So yeah, so I wanted to mimic that, but now that I think about it, I just don't know why I, you know, went first thing with the cutted paper. It would have been better. That's what I ended up doing, because you kind of see it already from here, but I have a feeling like because I use a Crayola SuperTips, the white Posca pen didn't like react very well, so it didn't absorb as much as I wanted. It wasn't a white opaque as I wanted, so I ended up going back and like cut pieces of paper and like wrote down every single letter and I would stick it to it. And yeah, and right now I'm just working on the top hat. I am coloring down with my Tombow brush pen with the soft tip, and yeah, I'm just coloring the top hat in black. I left some spaces for some highlights to give it a little bit more relief and like perspective, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So as I said earlier, I drew a lot this month in my bullet journal. I didn't use any kind of washi tape. It was just me and my pen this month, and I haven't done a full colored spread in a very long while, and I'm super glad that I did, because I feel like as soon as you open those pages, you know, you kind of get like already the vibe from the game or from my team this month. So right now you're just like seeing me redoing my letters as I did them in my journal on my pieces of paper, because like I said, I didn't like the look of the white Posca pen on top of the red Crayola SuperTips. So I'm just, you know, redoing everything, and I'm gonna be cutting down the papers and sticking them to my journal with my double tape. And after that, I just passed back over the white with this time my red Posca pen, because at some places I didn't really cut the paper perfectly the same size as, you know, the square that I did below it. So I would just like went over with my red Posca pen. And now we're gonna be moving to the next spread of the theme of this month, which is my monthly calendar. In the in-game menus, I noticed that they show a lot of the time Joker, which is the main protagonist in the game, but as is a silhouette, mixed it with like a little bit of pointillism, drop shadows. So I went with that general aesthetic for the monthly calendar. I made him hold a gun, but I realized that it didn't show very well anyway, because I happen like to color everything in black. Oops. It's alright, it's alright. I feel like it's okay that we don't really see what he's holding anyway, so, you know, either way. So I started off by, as I said, coloring the part that would be in black right away, and I also wanted like to do some kind of like effect of like, you know, everything is like cut down, everything is a little bit like super chaotic. So I added some dots in his hair, you know, to give like this pointillism vibe. And on the other side, I just drew a big square that I'm gonna be filling out in black. And I left some white rectangle to be writing down October, the days of the month, and the days of the month, I mean the days of the week, and also the dates of the month. There we go. I mix both of the terms that I wanted to say. And for the last date of the month, I went with like a star, a big star shape, again, to create like even more chaos. And I'm super hyped for Halloween this month, and because Halloween, the 31st of October ends on a Sunday, I thought it would be perfect, and that would like give a how do we say, like, it would go well with the composition that I was working with. So yeah, so I drew a little star to represent the last day of the month. And yeah, I filled everything in black. I left some space to write down my goals, and I also colored some white space with my red Crayola SuperTips. I also added again those I feel bad saying that. I feel like I'm insulting someone, but I don't feel like I'm really like insulting anyone when I'm saying this. But either way, I drew some emo star design again. You know what? I'm just gonna call them the duplicate stars. I drew some stars design once again to just like, you know, make everything cohesive, and that, you know, the spread looks very well filled up. And also for the dates of the month, I went again with like this funky letter for like the typography. I went again with like as if I, you know, I cut everything down from a magazine that was using different kind of typographies for each letter. Sometimes they were one-did, sometimes they had like a little stars in it, sometimes it was like with serif. So yeah, I went with this look for the days of the week, and for the dates of the month. There we go. I keep mixing them, I don't know why. I wanted again to have like this super chaotic and like funky look, so I wrote down some of the numbers, bigger than others, smaller than others, you know the drill. And if it's not your first time here, you know about the catastrophe of my monthly calendar this month. And let me tell you, compared to last month, it's like night and day. I feel like I really reach, like, you know, the aesthetic of what I was going for this month, and I'm just like super satisfied. Because I was super disappointed in myself about like my monthly calendar, and you know, it happens, it has to happen. Not every bullet journal is perfect, but it felt good to be looking back on this monthly calendar, and I'm like, wow, I did this, it looks so good. And yeah, I just fall in love with like the general look of this thing, and how dynamic the whole, not just the spread, but the whole team is. I'm just super proud of myself, you know, with having like a super down month. I really wasn't confident while I was like filming, recording the whole thing, and you know, I'm just super glad I did, and I can show it to you guys. And talking about showcasing stuff, if you are thinking of recreating this theme, make sure to tag me on Instagram at Roszipou, or on Twitter, or if you are on my Discord, feel free to share them in the Discord section. Feel free to tag me on social medias, because I would love to see your recreation. Or if you did a Persona theme in the past, if you're like me and you like to do video game themes in your journal, go back to your post and, you know, tag me anyway. I would love to see them. I would love to, you know, just see how people can be original with this theme. Because it's so great. And yeah, a little parenthesis. I'm just super proud of myself in general that I went with this game, like that I started my Persona 4 playthrough. Because if you guys hang out on my Twitch channel, you know that my main game is Pokemon, Animal Crossing, you know, Nintendo stuff. And I don't think I would have tried out new games if it wasn't from people on Twitch. So I'm just super glad I'm trying out games that are not in my comfort zone. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just super proud of me in general. Alright. Let's go back on track and let's talk bullet journal again. For this next spread, this one took me quite some time. It's probably the spread that took me the longest. Let me explain you why. So right now I am working on my habit tracker and my mood tracker. So because I wanted to have this dynamic look again, I went with like a very curvy line between the spreads. So on the upper part, I'll be working on my habit tracker, and on the bottom part, I work with my mood tracker. For the habit tracker, I wanted to use my calendar stickers that I did for my shop update last month, which, by the way, if you want to buy the same stickers that I use and if you want to support me, you can find them at roszipou.bigcartel.com. And for this spread, I use a natural edition of the habit tracker stickers with 5 weeks. So I started off with our emo stars / duplicated stars design, and you know, I just drew a bunch of them. And after that, I went over with my mood tracker, and for this part, I was inspired from a screenshot from a side game of Persona 5 called Persona 5 Strikers. And I believe there's some kind of like stickers that you can collect in the game. And if you didn't find it, you kind of have like this sphere thing with like a question mark inside of it. So, you know, I thought it would be perfect for a habit tracker. So I drew 31 spheres with question marks inside of them, and I'll be coloring the inside of the sphere depending on my mood. A lighter red if I'm feeling good, and a darker red if I don't feel that good. So yeah, like I said, for the habit tracker part, that took me the longest time. You probably figure it out, you know, already, but coloring down all those stars took me a very long while. That is the thing that took me the longest. After I finished coloring down all the stars, like I said, I just took out my sticker sheet and I stick down all my mini calendars in my spread. You see how useful that is? I really don't see myself, you know, contouring all the little calendars that I would have like hand drawn while I was like coloring the stars. Nah, forget about it. I'm gonna do my design and I'm just gonna stick my stickers on top of that. That's gonna be so easy, and you could do the same thing if you go on and buy my stickers, you know? So for this month, I'm gonna be tracking down 5 different habits. The first one is gonna be if I go on and take a walk, if I take my medication, if I do my skincare routine every day, and finally if I sleep at least 7 hours and a half. And as for the titles, I just again use a sign of like kind of a secret letter typography that I've been using since the beginning to draw habits and mood. And I also you know, did a little rectangle around my titles just, you know, to make them pop a little bit. And I use my red Crayola SuperTips, and to write down inside of my calendars, I just use like this cheap red pen that I got off Amazon. And every time I'm gonna be doing a habit, I'm gonna be coloring down, you know, inside of the calendar. And I finish everything off by doing some kind of like curve line to really make it like evident that, you know, on one side it's the habit tracker and on the other side it's the mood tracker. And yeah, we're done. Next up is my monthly task and my random spread. This is a spread, the 2 pages that I don't usually draw a lot of things because I like to give me as much space that I need to write down all my ideas and, you know, all the work stuff that I have to do this month. So because I wanted to keep everything simple, I went with those half circle designs, and I alternated the colors on each side. So on the left page, I colored black half circles with red stars and sparkles, and on the right side, I went with the red half circles and the black stars. And I didn't really did it on purpose, but let me know in the comments if you think the same thing. But this spread, I don't know why, but it gives me like a circus vibe. I have a feeling like a clown or like a creepy doll is gonna pop out of my spread. And yeah, it's like from all the Halloween costume and like all that kind of thing, clowns and like dolls like Chucky scare me the most. Which, by the way, question of the day, what is the monster or like the scary creature that, or it doesn't even have to be like scary from the first place, but what is the thing that scares you the most? Like the thing that makes you go nope. It could be spiders, it could be clouds, it could be dolls like me. But yeah, let me know in the comment what is the thing that like spooks you a little bit, you know, on the Halloween theme. And inside of the half circles, I just like, you know, reuse the same funky typo that I used since the beginning to write down brain dump on one side, and on the other side I wrote down monthly task. And finally, we are moving to the last spread of this Plan With Me video, which is my first weekly spread of the month of October. You would have to excuse me for this spread. I was sure that my top camera was on, but I never started the recording when I started to work on this spread. So unfortunately, we only have like the side view for this one. I feel super bad. It's like such a beginner mistake, but you know, it happens. So on the left side of the spread, it's kind of like a little bit blurry for now on camera, but you see me working on the Joker's mask, which is the main protagonist of the game. So I just drew its mask. It's going to have, I mean, a red flame coming out from one eye, a little bit like the Top Hat logo that we saw at the beginning. So on the left side, we're gonna have like this little mask that, you know, gives the illustration of that spread. I'm also gonna be writing down October and task in the same typography as the game cover, if that makes sense. So I wrote a big first letter, and for the rest of the letter, I kind of like put them like on the top right of the big letter, if that makes sense. When you're gonna see the flip through, you're gonna understand what I mean. So I left some space for writing down October and task, so I could write down my task. I also stick a little mini calendar, again from my sticker sheet that you can get from my shop. And on the right side, this is where I'm gonna be writing down my schedule. So I realized that I did 6 rectangles instead of 7. It kind of end up like working well because I don't necessarily like schedule stuff for myself on the weekends. So I have 6 rectangle on the top of the right page, and one that is a little bit like down for Sunday. I also did like some drop shadow effect. I thought that it would, like, you know, gives like some kind of dynamic, and as well as you know, some red highlight. I did like a big red rectangle to really separate the task with like the schedule of the week. I did this funky typo once again for the days of the week. Under them, I colored a small red circle so I could be writing down the dates. I finished everything off with sparkles because, you know me, sparkles is the answer to every spread. If you don't know what to do, do a bunch of sparkles. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We're done. Thank you so much for keeping up until the end. And if you did watch the full video, make sure to leave a sparkling heart emoji in the comments. I am so happy that I waited for the month of October to do my Persona 5 theme because it fits so well. I really can't wait to finish Persona 4 so I can play this game next. And once again, make sure to follow me on Instagram to see what are going to be my next weekly spreads through the month, if you are looking forward to it. And you can also catch me on my streams at twitch.tv/Roszipou if you want to see my Persona 4 playthrough. I hope you guys are looking forward for next month for my next Playing With Me video. And once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell to keep up with my videos. Have a good rest of your day, stay safe and stay epic, and enjoy this final flip through. Goodbye, friends!